Welcome back to the Perks Recap Podcast. We are back again with Al, and today we're talking about some baseball. The trade deadline was yesterday. We're going to go team by team, exactly what they did. Al, how you doing?
Great, man. Great. Tired but in a good way after yesterday. It was just a flurry of moves, and I was just all over it, just watching everything come by. And man, it was fun. And then it took like 6 hours to digest it afterwards.
Oh yeah, because for once, sometimes the trade deadline is a dud, but not this year.
No, this one delivered in spades. It was awesome, and yeah, really some really exciting stuff to talk about today.
Yeah, one takeaway I have.
Please.
Um, it was strange how little starting pitchers got moved. How
Yeah, that
few?
I agree. I completely agree.
You heard
Yeah,
rumors on a lot of guys, and only like one or two of them went.
Yeah, I agree 100% on that. It was a ton of relievers, ton of relievers. That was the probably the biggest thing by far, and then some very important position players and some depth guys. It was there was. You're right. The lack of I mean, when we need to talk about like Nestor Cortez moving, then there
Yeah,
wasn't a ton of starting
exactly.
pitchers.
Right. Like, so we're going with Arizona, who was our first. We're gonna just go alphabetical order here.
Cool.
The first team, they got rid of Merrill Kelly going to Texas, but
Yeah,
they
that was one of
couldn't
the
find
bigger
anybody.
starters. Yeah.
Yep, but they couldn't get anybody to get to take Zach Gallen. And here's another thing. I think the reason why these starters didn't move is I got a feeling that these teams were asking a freaking ton.
I agree because there's no, there really doesn't make sense for Zach Gallen not to be moved otherwise. And the tricky thing though with Gallen, actually, let me take that back because the tricky thing with Gallen is he's been an all-star and or a very good pitcher for the first 6 or 7 years of his career, and this year he's been awful. So I think that was one of the more tricky markets to figure
Yep,
out.
I agree. I agree. So for them, they moved Mel Kelly to Texas, and they moved Eugenio Suarez to the Mariners, who got a lot better. Um,
Yeah, they did.
but their returns were okay, but not anything earth shattering.
Yeah, there were varying reviews on the Suarez return from okay to terrible.
Right.
And when you look at what they got for him, it's surprising nobody else upped the ante. Honestly,
Yep. Yep. Um. So we're going by CBS's grades. I'm just going to give CBS's grades. It doesn't really matter, but I'll just let you guys know. CBS gave Arizona a B for the trade deadline.
yeah, which seems, I mean, it seems fairly reasonable. I mean, although I think some other people might have them lower because of the underwhelming return for Suarez, but yeah, they got a decent return for Kelly, so I can understand the B. Although I might give him more like a C or a C plus personally.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Right on.
All right. Okay, so we can move to the Braves in your division. This must make you happy because they didn't do much of anything.
They did. You know what they did was some of the weirdest stuff I've ever seen. They and a lot of it was in the week leading up to the trade deadline. They accumulated a bunch of garbage. You know,
Yeah.
they got
And,
Eric Fetty.
yep. Tyler
Well,
Kinley.
yeah, yes, Dane Dunning.
Yeah, and they couldn't make any trades for like since they're not contending. I would think that they would move Ozuna or maybe uh, also Iglesias was rumored quite a bit as well, and they both stayed.
Yeah, that was very. I mean, Ozuna has his the no trade thing, so maybe that caused that somewhat. But I was stunned they didn't move Iglesias. I mean, in the year of the reliever trade market, you think that would have been something they would have moved for sure.
Yeah,
And
everybody moved relievers, and they didn't.
absolutely, man, yeah. And Ozuna, man. I mean, if I was I would have been working hard to get that guy if I was a team in the in need of offense and a DH because He's he
Oh,
you know he can be a huge guy, and he was been a little down this year. So you think his hot streak is coming because he's been pretty. he's pretty consistently hits for 25 to 35 home runs every year, and every now and then more. So yeah,
Yeah.
it did surprise me. I'm guessing it was the no trade clause, but who knows?
Yep. CBS gave them a D, and I would agree.
I agree completely. Yeah, the Braves are the one of me are I think probably the most disappointing team in baseball this year.
All around,
Yeah.
in every way you look at it.
Yep. Absolutely. Pitching, offense, their front office, the whole thing, man.
Yeah. All right. Move on to the Cubs then. Yeah, them and the Brewers. This is going to be a fun race the rest of the way.
It really is. It really is. But the Cubs, man, I talk about an underwhelming trade deadline for the Cubs.
Yeah, I mean they got Willie Castro, who I kind of wanted for the Yankees, to be honest. I like
Yeah,
him. I like him quite a bit, actually.
yeah, he's not. I mean, listen, he's a nice player, but he's not a franchise changer. You know what I mean?
Oh
He's
no, no, no.
I like him, and he's a nice piece, but he's not. A nice solid player who plays good D, but you add him and Mike Soraka, it's not going to move the needle much.
Yeah, he does nothing for me.
If you
Um,
got Soraka in 2019, then you got
yeah,
something.
he hasn't been relevant in 5 years.
Totally, man.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, you would think that they would have been in the market for like a Zach Gallen or somebody, or somebody more of the front of the line of a rotation guy, because
Yeah, I
they
expected a
need
bigger move.
they need to replace Justin Steele, who's been out forever, and he's out for the year, and they never really did, and I thought maybe they would.
I'm with you, man. It was very underwhelming to me. They got a player we both like in Castro, but not much else.
A very mid trade deadline, and that's exactly the grade that CBS gave them. They gave them a C.
Yeah, that seems exactly fitting to me.
Yep. All right. The Cincinnati Reds also didn't do much. They added Brian Hayes. I mean, he's become after his post hype sleeper uh, prospect. I would say that after his prospect pedigree and everybody getting excited for him early in his career, he's settled into a very good fielder at third base, but a below average hitter.
Yeah, and not just a little below average, like a terrible hitter.
Yeah.
His OPS for the last 3 seasons has been under 600.
Oh wow, I didn't even realize that. Though I would say it was be under 700, but under 600.
It's crazy. That's like
That's real
how are
bad.
you even starting for a major league team bad? It really is.
That's like coming in the eighth inning for defensive replacement. And that's all.
Exactly,
That's your entire
exactly.
role. That's your entire role.
No doubt, man. No doubt. Yeah, he literally. This is his numbers in 2024. Oh wait, I'm sorry. The last 2 seasons because it's that crazy thing on Baseball Reference where they combine the seasons
Oh
and it
yeah,
looks like 3 seasons at the same time. But 2024, 573 OPS. This season, 575 OPS.
terrible.
Yeah, his slugging percentage is under 300 both years.
So maybe the Reds won't be using him at the plate much, but they did add him and Zach Littell.
That was a good pickup.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah, that's right. Yes, I know. I remember him. Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a pretty good pickup.
Yeah, man. He's Tampa Bay, who always seems to have good pitchers nobody ever heard of. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And he was a reliever to start it. He was in and out to start his career. He had mostly a reliever early on, and then the last 2 seasons he's been full time starter and an ERA in the mid threes both seasons. This year his whip's down to 1.18. So
Yeah, can't
heck,
complain
that
about that.
yeah. Now he goes to one of the least pitcher friendly parks in baseball, but he's a good pitcher. So we'll see. That should help him.
Yep, they got a C plus grade, and that seems about right because Hayes move doesn't really move the needle much, but Littell is a pretty good add, and yeah, maybe just a regular C instead of a C plus. But other than that, yeah, I'm right there with him.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm right there with you. That's because I like Littell. I like the Littell ad. Hayes doesn't do a whole lot for me, but he was a fantasy like there was he had that one decent year when he first came up, and then he was getting overdrafted in fantasy for the next year or two, and and he's just settled into what he is, a great fielder who can't hit at all.
Yep, I agree. Okay, the Colorado Rockies, of course, sent Ryan McMahon to the Yankees, and the Yankees are hoping that he's more of the hitter he was a couple of years ago, and not what he was this year. And so far, he has been. I mean, it's only been a couple games. Um, they just think that the doldrums of being on a team that's on pace to lose 120 games probably kind of sapped his get up and go. I'll say his
Yeah,
you know, not much of a what's the word I'm looking for here.
impetus to play well.
Exactly. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Not much motivation is all the word
yeah,
I'm looking
yeah. It
for.
doesn't exactly light the fire when you're losing 100 games a year,
Yeah, and they're on pace to lose 120.
which is just, I mean, that's
Right.
incredible, man.
And
Absolutely incredible.
even if that's who he is and he bats 220 or whatever, his third base defense was sorely needed. And because the Yankees are like the circus comes to town with them on the infield. So let's get some a solid third baseman in there, and he is. He's a really solid third baseman in the field. Um, they also traded it. Just this says just a pair of relievers, and I thought maybe for stuff like this I would remember, but I'm not remembering who they traded off. Was it anybody of any consequence?
Oh, they traded Jake Bird to, I think, your
Oh
Yankees.
yeah,
Pretty,
yeah, Jake Bird. That's right.
who's a guy who, his ERA and WHIP don't jump off the page at you. They're not awesome, but he is pitching in Colorado. But the positive on him, if you're looking for it, is he makes people miss a lot.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, he throws 1,000 miles an hour.
yeah, and there have been plenty of people whose careers have been resurrected as pitchers by leaving Colorado. So, he's well more than a strikeout an inning guy. He's got 62 strikeouts and 53 and a third. Now, he also comes with an ERA just south of 5 and a 1.48 WHIP. So, you're hoping that there's a Colorado correction. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But he's an
I
enticing
think it's
guy.
worth. Yeah, worth a shot. I would
I
say.
agree, 100% agree. And they didn't give up hardly anything for him. Nothing, no
Right.
prospect of note. It wasn't. They didn't have to pay a ransom for him.
Right. They still gave Colorado a B minus, and I really don't see. They said that the returns are nothing drastic in terms of their young talent and play that's already in place. There's not a big improvement, so I don't know how they got a B minus. So I would give them more like a C.
I'm with you, 100%, absolutely 100%, because they got zero prospect. I mean, did the Yankees give up anything that you felt like hurt you? You know what I mean? I don't think so.
No, the Yankees made like 6 or 7 trades, which is crazy. And the highest prospect I think was like 8, and the next one was 10, and then after that it was all guys that are like not even close.
Yeah, like roster fillers, man. So
Like
yeah, and
they didn't trade anybody in their top 5 or 6 in their organization.
that's yeah, and if so, yeah, that's pretty. If they get people that help, that's going to be look awesome in the long run. And I would just want to double back to McMahon for a second because we talked about Cabrian Hayes being and McMahon's a very good defender too, like you said, but he is a solidly consistent offensive force. He's batting average challenged, but he's got an OPS in the low to mid sevens every season of his career that he's played a
Yeah,
full season.
that's fine. I have no
Yeah.
problem with that. That's
Yep.
fine.
So
That'll
yeah,
work.
yeah, you're not getting Cabrian Hayes at least. You're getting,
Yeah,
good
they were
D.
rumored to be looking at him.
Yeah, and he was a surprisingly semi-hot commodity. It seemed like, you know what I mean, given his just horrific offense. So his defense is great. So I do get that, but usually when you have hot commodities on the defensive end, it's because they play multiple positions, especially middle infield. Usually
Yep.
don't hear about people wanting a defensive replacement at third base. That's an interesting thing.
Alrighty.
Cool. So yeah, I'm with you. Not overwhelming for the Rockies at all with their return.
All right. let's see there. We're on the Dodgers now, and they sent Dustin May to the Red Sox. And they're saying that they got an excellent return, but it was all Boston's prospects. But apparently, Boston paid through the nose for them, and they kind of fleeced them.
That's fascinating to get Dustin May. Like, I mean, he's been a good pitcher, but he's also super injury prone, and I don't think is it. Am I? He has maybe one more year left on his contract, or he's walking. Let me look that up real quick.
He might be a rental.
Which would be insane that they got that level of prospect for a rental with an ERA in the mid fours right now, who's injury prone. Um, it just says he signed a $2.1 million contract avoiding salary arbitration. I can't. Why can't that shit? It's usually easy to find. Why can't I find it?
Let's see here if
Oh,
I can.
because I didn't put in the full thing. That's why I messed up
One
here.
year contract is what the last thing he signed.
Contract is final.
He's-
Yeah, he's a free agent at the end of the season. So that is a wild freaking return. I mean, he's cheap, which is
yeah,
a big
helping.
part of it.
Yeah, only making $2 million.
That's a very good pitcher for $2 million.
Right. Yeah, he's walking at the end of this year.
That's wild, man. I mean, and that's why the Dodgers got because I was a little surprised at that B+ because they really didn't do much that helps them now at all. They got
Right.
Alex Call, who's he's been okay, as an outfielder for the Nationals, I believe.
Yeah,
Pretty
but he hasn't been that great.
No, I mean he's nothing that would get you a B+ on a rating, and
Yeah.
they didn't add a whole lot other than that. So
C minus for me.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Um, Yeah, I don't get it. They got Brock Stewart also from the Twins who traded their entire roster.
Right. And he
But
doesn't move.
oh, are you there, Craig?
Oh,
You broke
sorry,
up for half a second. Okay, we're
yeah,
good. We're good.
I,
Yeah, he's
I
having a
I got
good.
a call.
Oh, okay, right on, right on. Yeah, Stewart's having a good season, but he's been terrible in his career. Like his career ERA is 4.5 and a WHIP of 1.4. This year he's got a 2.38 and a 1.08 WHIP. So he's been good this year, but relievers are so dicey. Who knows? But yeah, I'm with you, man. They are. I give him a C at best.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. Doesn't move the needle. Okay. So we go to move on to the Marlins, another one in your division, and they did not trade Sandy Alcantara, and I thought for sure they would have.
That's an interesting one because again, you're trying to trade a guy. I was really curious about that because
Apparently, the Yankees were close. Uh, my Joe Jordan's father, he texted me that, or was it him, or was it somebody else? Somebody texted me yesterday and said that the Yankees were close to getting Alcantara.
man, that I mean that he was the most fascinating guy on the trade deadline to me because the dude was absolutely lights out for what
Two
the for
years,
for 3 seasons.
two or three
Now,
seasons, and he won the Cy Young one year.
yep, and then he comes back after this year and he's just awful.
Yeah, well, he's still recovering from Tommy John. You never know how much of that's still affecting him.
No doubt.
I still think it's in there, and I definitely would have liked to have him, if not even for this year, just for like next year when he's farther away from the surgery.
Yeah.
It's going to come back eventually.
I think that's why this deal didn't get done because I think a lot of teams are looking at it like you just said and don't want to pay for 2022, but the Marlins don't want to trade him for 2025. And where do you meet in between?
Apparently, the reason why the Yankees didn't get him is because they wanted a truckload of people. Like they wanted insane. They wanted like apparently it started with like Dominguez and either George Lombard or Spencer Jones.
Yeah, and that's 2022 price.
Yeah, I mean that's craziness right there.
Yeah, but it's not if you're getting 2022 it's not even enough if you're getting
Right,
Alcantara.
right, and yeah, and apparently, yeah, you're right. They wanted 2022, to pay for 2022, and it wasn't just those two; it was like other people as well. Like that's where it started. The trade
That
deadline,
makes that makes sense then. So that's the thing is Marlins were looking at it like the absolute peak of Alcantara price, and everybody else was looking at it as we want a discount because he stinks this year.
right, right. But I do think that it'll come back eventually for him.
Oh, I completely agree. I completely agree. Although I will say, even coming back from Tommy John, he's been exceptionally horrible. I mean, his ERA is 6.36, and even most guys
Yeah,
coming that are great coming off it aren't quite that bad even. So it is interesting how bad he's been. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But I'm with you. I mean, I'd be surprised. I don't know if he'll be a Cy Young Award winner again because he's going to be 30 next year. So we're not he's not super young anymore, but he still has 10 years left as potentially in the way people pitch anymore. So I can't wait to see where that lands. I'm guessing his ERA will be back in the twos or the low threes by next season.
That's what I'm thinking as well.
Right on, right on.
They shipped away Jesus Sanchez as well, who's kind of he's all right outfielder.
He's an
Um,
interesting guy. I mean, and one of the few lefty bats to get moved.
yep, yep. Um, Somehow they still got a C plus. I really don't see a C plus here as I'm looking at their moves.
Yeah, I'm trying to see what else they did because let me just pull up everything they did real quick.
They're saying that
Um,
they could have Alcantara's still under contract, and they're thinking that he's gonna get shopped in the off season.
yeah, that would make, assuming he gets back on track between now and then,
Yeah,
that
if he
makes a
gets
lot of
back on
sense.
track, the hefty price tag that they had will be more justified, and they probably can get it in the off season.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense if that happens for sure, for sure. I don't know why that because the returns that the Marlins got aren't overwhelming at all. So yeah, I don't really like their trade deadline much. They got the 13th ranked prospect in the Jesus Sanchez trade from the Astros and two other guys that aren't ranked, and they traded their catcher Nick Fortes for a guy who's not ranked by anybody, a left fielder. So yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah, they gave him a C plus. I think it's more like a C minus.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Yep, I wouldn't even argue if you gave him a D.
All right. So the Brewers, who are surging again, this has been started to become their routine now. Every year they have a great end of the season and sneak in the playoffs, and they're right behind the Cubs, and Cubs better look out.
I agree completely, man. Absolutely.
And they
Now,
got rid of Nestor, nasty Nestor, to the Padres.
I love it, man. You gotta love Nestor.
I love his little quirks and the way he rocks on the mound with staying on 1 foot and all the things he does.
Yeah, see, and that we talked about that in our top 10 pitching motion podcast, and I so much enjoyed watching all that.
He's a quirky guy.
He's
Um,
priceless.
they added Shelby Miller as well and Danny Jansen.
Yeah, neither are. I mean, Shelby's a solid. I don't know what kind because Shelby's been one of those guys that's been all over the place during the course of his career. Okay, he's having a
Yeah,
great season. So
yeah,
if he continues in that, wonderful, wonderful. Now, he's just one of those guys that like this year he has a 1.98 ERA. Last year, 4.53. The year before that, 1.71. The year before that, the couple years before that, he had a 6.43, 5.06, and a 9.24 in very limited appearances. So, I mean, he's just all over the freaking map, Shelby Miller. So, if they get the guy they traded for from this season, they got a big ad. But
yep,
he's an interesting guy, very volatile.
yep. Danny Jansen is just more like depth than anything, but he can be a decent catcher as
Yeah, he's
well.
got some pop for a catcher. He's okay.
Yep. They gave him a B minus. I'm good with that. I think they're a little bit more than a C. They actually did a couple things. I'm okay with the B minus. Maybe a C plus.
Yeah, more of it in the C plus range because it's not. If they get the Shelby Miller that has pitched so far this year, I could pop it up to a B minus. But But that has they're going to have to prove that. And I don't, they didn't get it's not like they got anything really of value for Nestor Cortez. So I don't know. It's an interesting one. They just got some solid depth. And if Shelby Miller's the guy this season, great.
Yep. Okay, back to your division with the New York Mets.
Woo,
And
fascinating.
wow, they did a lot.
A lot.
They added a bona fide closer who is now their eighth inning guy, which will be Ryan Helsley. He's been good for the last couple years as a closer over in St. Louis.
Absolutely.
Gregory Soto is really solid. Tyler Rogers is also really, really good. They added
I was
all
so bummed
three of
about the
them.
Tyler Rogers. I'm a big Tyler Rogers fan.
Yeah, they added all three of those guys to really fortify that bullpen, especially with all their starters that they have that don't go more than 5 innings. They needed to add bullpen help, and boy, did they ever! And then
Yet
they
I will. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
and real quick, then they also added Cedric Mullins, who
It's
is
a fat.
not what he was a couple of years ago, but he's still pretty good.
Yeah, man, it's a fascinating trade deadline, and I will say they added two really good relievers and Gregory Soto. Gregory Soto is not that good. Now, maybe the Mets pitching lab will make him better, but we're talking about a guy, and I know this because he was on the Phils in 2024, where he pitched to a 4.08 ERA and a 1.58 WHIP, by the way, and then gave up 3 runs in 2 innings in the playoffs. But his career ERA is 4.22. His career WHIP is 1.4. So
He's a
if
little, yeah, but for some reason he's a little better this year. 3.8 ERA, 1.2 WHIP.
yes, which in my mind it tells you he's going to get worse. So we'll see if he can maintain that. Now the Mets do, Now I will say the vaunted pitching lab hasn't. The reason they're trading for relievers is because their relieving has sucked this year. So
Oh
the
yeah,
vaunted pitching lab is not quite what it was made out to be. So Soto's an interesting guy. I won't be too harsh on him, but he's not great. But the other two guys are, and I was so bummed when they got Tyler Rogers because I'm a huge Tyler Rogers fan. I love watching him scrape dirt. And
yep,
Helsley was a guy big time on my radar for the Phils because I didn't think they'd go as heavy as they did, but which we'll get to soon enough. But so Helsley and Rogers, I love. We'll see what they get out of Soto. I mean, they might get the good Soto. We'll see.
yep.
And Mullins, fascinating guy. I mean, he looked like he was going to be a superstar a few years ago. He's been pretty average since, but he's a heck of a fielder. And, he still brings an OPS of 738, so he's not going to kill you offensively.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's not what he was. I mean, that year he was like in MVP conversations. That'll never happen again. But you're going to get a guy with some speed,
Yep.
a good defender in the outfield,
Yep.
and okay, some pop in the bat as well, and he'll fit nicely in that lineup. And the Mets are going for it. They're going to be right there now, and this is going to be a really interesting down the stretch here with the Mets and Phillies because
Yeah, and it's a
they're
clear 1-2 race because there is nobody else involved in the East.
right. It is neck and neck, and it's going to be very interesting.
Right there with you, man. I mean, they have been going back and forth all season, and that just, I don't see that stopping.
I've seen a few Mets grades, and everybody gives them basically an A. And they gave CBS gave me an A-, but yeah, they had a really good deadline in my opinion.
Yeah, I won't argue. I would go with that A- like them. I wouldn't argue with whatever you want to do there. I'm not as high on Soto as a lot of people, so that nicks it a little bit for me. But they did very well, very well. The only thing they didn't do is add starting help, which again they need because of some injuries. But I thought they did great.
Right. Apparently, but again, all I'm hearing is the price, the asking price for all these starters was insane, which is why they
Absolutely.
yeah. So
Yeah, they weren't the only ones that didn't get starters they were looking for.
yeah, exactly. A lot of people, yeah, a lot of people were out. Okay, so on to your fills, and I'll let you just take it away. Go ahead.
Well, this was fascinating because I had the one guy I wanted more than anybody once Class A got suspended was how do we say his first name? Johan Duran.
Yeah.
Um, but I didn't think they were going to do it because the dude is the best part about this trade, other than him being arguably the best reliever that got moved, is that he's under control through 2028.
Really?
Yeah, man. He is there. Oh, I'm sorry, 2027. They have him
Okay.
for this season and the next two, which is massive. Absolutely massive. He is not a rental like almost every other. There's one exception that we'll get to eventually, but almost every other reliever is either mostly rentals, but then a couple that have one more season of control. Um, but this is massive. I mean, this guy's unbelievable, man. This guy throws over 100 miles an hour and has a knuckle curve that makes people's knees bend. So I love it. I absolutely love it. Now, as much as I love that, Harrison Bader, solid ad. You know what I mean? Not quite what I was hoping for. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep. Little. Yeah. Little. Not quite in A for their trade deadline. I agree with that, but still a solid deadline with a B plus given here, and I would agree with that.
Yeah, man. And Bader, listen, Bader's having a very good year. Like on paper right now, he's better than Cedric Mullins. You know what I mean? So
Right.
if
But I don't. I had Bader. He's frustrating to have on your team.
yeah, no doubt. No doubt. He is up and down and all around.
Yeah.
And
When he's up, he's up. But when he's down, he is down.
yeah, so I mean, he's only had two seasons his whole career that have held up all season to an OPS where he's at right now at 778. Now, that's significantly higher than Mullins and some of the other guys we talked about. So if they can get that guy for the rest of the season, awesome. We'll see.
Is he in? He's not back next year, right? Is he a free agent?
I am almost positive he's a rental, but let me make 100% sure. I thought I looked that up, but I can't remember. Here we go. Yeah, 1 year deal.
Yeah.
With the
Yeah.
that's right. It's a mutual option. Mutual option. So there's a possibility he could be back, but if he plays like he did the rest of this season, he's not coming back for the money that mutual option is.
Okay. Okay. But Duran, of course, is a great addition.
Yeah, arguably the best bullpen ad of the entire trade deadline. Arguably, there's one other guy in consideration for that.
Could be Helsley.
No, it's a guy we haven't talked about yet. Do you want me to say it now or wait?
Yeah, you can say it.
Mason Miller.
Oh yeah, yeah. Mason Miller. Mason Miller's probably the premier closer in the game
Well,
right
I would
now.
take Duran. If you look at their numbers, Duran is more consistently good. I mean, he is. I like Mason Miller a lot, but he had one A+ season, and it was an A+, like massive A+. That was last year when he went 2.49 ERA with 104 strikeouts in 65 innings. That's an
That's
insane.
insane.
Right. But the year before, he had a 3.78 ERA, and this year he has a 3.76 ERA. So we are talking typical kind of reliever who's up and down. Now, let me give you Duran's numbers because to me, it's a clear case of Duran being better. But it's close. But I would take Duran. He's been in the bigs. Where is it? Oh, here we go. He's been in the bigs since 2022. ERA of 1.86, 2.45. The worst year was last year when he had an ERA of 3.64, and then back to 2.01 this year. So he's had 3 years of greatness as opposed to one, and only one mildly down year, which was better than both of Mason Miller's down years. So I'll take Duran.
Yeah, yeah. I would probably still go with Miller. I would still say I think Miller's got a higher ceiling. But it's neck and neck. There's nothing wrong with Durant at all. I like him just as much, and I definitely can see the case for him. No doubt about it.
Right on, right on. Yeah, it's fair. That's fair.
All
So
right, so
yeah,
we're gonna
I
go.
agree with the Phil's
Okay, go
B
ahead.
plus. By the way,
Oh yes, B plus. Yeah, that's what I. Yep, I think it's a B plus as well. I do think probably if they added another reliever, because you wanted like two or three, right?
well, the thing is, they signed David Robertson right,
I
but like 2 weeks.
mean, does that matter? That does nothing for me. How old is he? 41.
Da, da.
I mean, I
I
guess he
think.
could still kind of be a little effective, but
I mean,
uh,
his ER. He Last year's ERA was 3.03 in 62 innings. I'll take it with a whip
Oh,
of 1.1.
yeah, yeah, all right. Okay, so yeah, all
So
right.
that's, I mean, if they had signed him to be their closer, I'd be like, yeah, come on, bro. You know what I mean?
But
But as a,
wasn't he just out there for everybody and nobody wanted him?
well, no, he was coming off a rehab in the Phils. He wanted to play for the Phils.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
So
Good,
yeah,
good
so that's a
on
big ad actually. I mean, if you told me if you just looked at his numbers and said you traded for this guy, you'd be like, "Oh, okay, we got a really good pitcher." So,
yeah.
um so they got him and they're now they have a core of Duran, Matt Stram, Orion Kirkering, who are very good. The two guys that have been good all year for the Phils, and Robertson, and then a couple other guys have been stepping it up a little bit lately. So I feel a lot way better about their bullpen now, better than I have in years. In years, this is the first closer that's worth a damn in a long time. I mean that I mean they've been trying. They had Kimbrel when they were a massive contender 2 years ago. I mean, give me a
Yeah.
break. You know what I mean? Like Dave Dombrowski is really weird with how he likes to assemble bullpens, but I think he finally might have got it right this year. We'll see.
I agree. I agree.
And if they can get Nola back, and they already have one. They're one of the few teams that didn't need to even consider starting pitching. So it's if they can get Nola back and add these bullpen pieces, man, I'm pretty excited about it. Now we'll see what Bader does because they need some offensive pop. So hopefully he adds something and doesn't just turn into the bad Bader. Van
Bad Vader.
Is that like Van Vader's tag team partner?
Big Van Vader and Bad Vader.
Oh man, I'll never forget when he popped his own eye back in.
Oh my God! Yep. Or when he ripped Mick Foley's ear off.
Yeah, totally, man. After Mick pretty much ripped it off himself with that ring rope trick.
Right. That he did for years, and for some reason his ear got caught in that particular one in Japan.
Yeah, man. Yep. It's like like guys do like Tiger Mask, who had done that basic little not basic for most people, but for him, basic little ring rope and exit where he would bounce off the top ring rope and land on the outskirt on the concrete outside the ring. And one day he paralyzed himself. It's just crazy how that kind of stuff goes in wrestling. Not to get off on a crazy tangent here, but
All right. The Pittsburgh Pirates.
shit.
Uh, what? How can you be a Pirates fan?
I don't know, man. I don't know how they
They,
sell 100 tickets a year for that team, let alone anything else.
yeah. So Bednar goes not for a huge haul, and I love the move for the
Great
Yankees.
move, man. He was a guy I was really kind of hoping the Phils would get. I didn't think they were going to pull off something for Durant.
Yep. Brian Hayes, of course, we already talked about. But they had three veteran rentals that they could have sent out, all of them free agents at the end of the year, and they didn't use any of them. They didn't trade any of them. Tommy Pham, Kiner Falefa, and Andrew Heaney, who's actually having a decent year,
Right, right. And
and
throw
they
on top
all
of that
stayed.
Mitch Keller,
Yeah,
who's having the best year of his career, and they didn't sell high on him. So I don't know what they're doing there. I don't get that. I don't. There doesn't seem to be much of a plan. They just stink. They showed a little. What was that? A year or two ago, they showed a little bit of life for the first time in a decade or two, and they just went right back to being the Pirates. And this kind of trade deadline is how they stay there for another decade.
yeah, I agree. Sorry, I'm still waking up.
Oh, dude, I get it, man. No, I'm right there with you. That's funny, and I'm right there. I'm pounding coffee as we talk. So if I
Yeah, me
start
too.
talking too fast, just slow me down. But yeah, I would give this
But
trade
yeah,
deadline an
how
F,
how
not
long
even a
before?
D.
How long would is it going to be before Skeens is gone?
Oh God, I don't know, man. I mean, I don't even think it matters. You know?
I think he's going to be gone either in the off season this year or the trade deadline next year.
Yeah, man. I think you're probably right. I agree with that 100%, actually.
because they're not going
Um,
to keep him. See, the thing is too is I don't know this 2027. I don't know what this. There's not going to be a season in 2027. Everything I'm hearing is like the entire season's going to get blown out from the negotiations because the owners apparently are not budging on a salary cap,
well, if
and
it
the
goes
players are
anything,
not budging on no salary cap.
if it goes anything like his visit to the Phillies clubhouse, did you hear about that?
No.
Bryce Harper told him to f off.
Oh yes, I did hear about that. Yes.
How funny is that?
Yeah, pretty funny. Yeah, so it's gonna be. I'm nervous for it because I love baseball, but I got a bad feeling about 2027, and it could impact a guy like Skeens because when he is up for, I don't know when he's up for a contract, but it's got to be 2027, 2028 in that range, and uh, he's gonna be. He's going to have a huge price tag, and if there's a salary cap, that's going to take a lot of people out of it.
I listen, that's a great call. That is a great call. And I'll tell you, man, what a lot of teams don't do, and that I am a firm believer in, especially when you're bottom of the barrel payroll wise, like the Pirates, like the Marlins, like the A's, like a few other teams we could mention. They wait too long on their guys that they know are not going to help them. They're not going to listen. That guy's an awesome pitcher. He might improve their win total by 10 games this year, which means they win 50 instead of 40. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Yep.
what you could do is while he has a massive amount of team control left in contract years, is trade him for the number one, the number three, and the number 7 and 12 prospect from some franchise. You know
Yeah. Yep.
that could actually impact your team in a positive way over the next 5 years. But people don't do it, and especially teams like the Pirates, and that's why they suck all the time. If I were them, I'd look to trade him and O'Neal Cruz right now.
Yeah. And just completely get ready for the future and be ready to go.
100%, man, 100%. Because then you have a bunch of these young guys, probably half of which won't pan out, because that's how prospects go. But
But
you
half
trade
will.
a half will, and those guys will be young and under control for 5 years, and you might actually be able to put together a winner.
Yeah. That's how they got to do it.
But enough people just don't do it, man. I don't understand it. It drives me nuts it's fine because I'm not a fan of these teams. Luckily, both of our teams spend money and we don't have to think like that. But man, if I was a fan of the Pirates or the Marlins or teams like that, it's got to drive you bonkers.
Yep. I agree. All right. Well, they gave him a D. You said you would give him an F. I agree with the F.
Right on, right on, and good job by the Yanks getting Bednar. I'm with you on that.
All right. Now, the big winners, one of the big winners of the trade deadline is the San Diego Fathers. A,
Nice.
A plus they were given, and I agree. Wow, they are all in again. They do this every couple of years where they just go crazy, and you wonder how they're paying for everybody, but it doesn't matter. I mean, Mason Miller, arguably the best closer on the board, if not, like you said, Duran, but right up there
Huge,
with him.
huge, and nobody thought he was moving. Myself included. I thought Duran was semi likely to get moved, but it was going to be difficult because of the contract control. I thought it was Mason Miller was never going to happen. I mean, he wasn't even being discussed much other than pipe dream, sort of like maybe, you know what I mean?
Uh,
And they pulled it off, man. To their credit, great
and they
move.
add Ryan O'Hearn, who's not spectacular but solid at first. Um,
Absolutely. And by the way, real quick, they added J.P. Sears in that same trade with Mason Miller, who's not a great starter, but a solid arm to add.
oh yeah, he's an MLB starter.
No
He's
doubt, like a
probably a number
three.
4, number 5, but
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, man. So yeah, that to get both of those guys was just stunning to me. I couldn't believe it.
yep. And then they added Ramon Laureano as well.
Who, by the way, the guy everybody was waiting for 7 years ago when it looked like he was going to break out. He's having that year finally.
Yep. Freddie Fermin is a catcher. And nothing crazy for me, but they didn't get rid of Dylan Cease, who everybody thought they were going to, and they added Nestor.
Yeah, go Nestor, man. That'll improve the clubhouse at
Oh yeah.
levity by 1,000,000%.
So they were given an A plus, and I think I would agree, maybe an A instead of an A plus. But either way, they had a really good deadline. Another interesting um, nail biter, race down the stretch in the West as well, because the Dodgers didn't do nearly as much as the Padres did, and we'll see how that plays out the rest of the way.
I agree 1,000,000%, and I want to throw this at you too because I just ripped on the Pirates for not doing what the A's did, and I'm not a big fan of the freaking A's franchise at all. I think they're one of the with the Sacramento thing and all this, but check out what they got for this Mason Miller and Sears trade. They got Leo DeVries, who is the number one prospect of the Padres and number 3 overall in baseball according to MLB's
Oh wow,
rankings. They also got the Padres' number 3 prospect, Braden Nett, and their number 13 and number 17 prospects. I mean, they got a haul. They got the biggest haul of the entire trade deadline in that trade by far.
wow, wow, wow. Okay.
So credit to them for moving a guy when it mattered. They did exactly what we just said the Pirates didn't do.
Yes, I agree. That's what you do. If you're gonna move somebody like that, you do it at the right time to get the most.
100%. Now check this out, man. So we just said the Padres moved their number 1, number 3, number 13 and number 17 in that trade. Then in the Laureano trade, they moved their number 6, 8 and 16 prospects. By the way, their number 6 prospect has a great name, Boston Bateman.
Oh yeah, that is a great name.
And their number 8, this was the all name trade because in the same trade they traded Boston Bateman and Cobb Hightower and Brandon Butterworth. I mean, the all name trade of all time. Boston Bateman, Cobb Hightower, and Brandon Butterworth get moved in the same trade. That's beautiful. And then I think that's all the ranked prospects they gave up, but that is a ton. And credit to them because they got important players in those trades. And if you're going to move prospects, they moved them for what looks to me like the right guys. So huge deadline for
Move
these
them
guys.
to number two highest rankings for if you want to bet, place a bet on
Oh,
who's
you
going to win
mean
the national
for odds to win the World Series?
odds to go to the World Series from the national to win the National League. The Dodgers are one. Padres are now number two.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise because they've been hanging. They're only I think 3 games behind the last time I looked, and
Yep,
without these trades. So absolutely, and the Dodgers didn't do much. They traded away a starting pitcher for crying out loud in Dustin May. So they didn't do much to help them right now at all at the trade deadline, and the Padres did a lot.
yep. Number three is the Mets, by the way. I'm sure that makes you happy.
Yeah, well, I hope the Phils ought to be number 4.
I think they are. I just clicked off it. Hang on.
Right, oh, no worries, no worries. Yeah, but I would
Yeah,
assume they're number 4. I assume it wouldn't be somebody from the Central, but I guess it could be
I
maybe. But
think I think the Cubs. Yeah, the Cubs and Phils are the same odds.
there you go. That makes sense.
So anyway, let's get back to
Yeah,
this.
A plus. I'll give them an A plus.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Okay, on to the Giants. Oh,
Yeah.
the Giants.
Ugh.
What? I don't know what they're doing. They trade for Rafael Devers, and he basically makes them suck the rest of the way. And they get this guy, this high price tag, and now forced to sell because they're not keeping up with anybody. And they sell off Tyler Rogers, which I know you made you upset because the Mets got him.
Yep.
Um, Camilo Doval to my Yankees, which I love, and then Yastrzemski to the Royals. So they just sold off guys.
Yeah. It's weird. They made the Devers trade. We have to include that, like you did in this discussion. I'm glad you brought it up because I mean, this is one of the weirdest years for a player that I remember. I mean, just awful turnabout in attitude, and I still don't understand what Boston was doing when they knew what they had. Now they were able to turn it into something, so credit to them. And they stuck the Giants with this attitude. And then he shows up there. He won't show up for a meeting with Will Clark. I mean, come on. Will Clark wants to work with you. You know what I mean? Give me a break, dude. So, I mean, I've lost all respect for Devers this year. I don't know what's going on with that guy. And then they turn into the sellers at the deadline. And as CBS puts it, and I agree, a soft sell. The Again, the Yankees got a nice guy with Camilo Duvall. They get rid of
He
Rogers.
walks too many guys, but other than that, his ERA is 3.09. He's got 15 saves. 2 years ago, he had 39 saves and led the NL. He could be the closer next year when Devin Williams walks. Uh, he's got 24 walks in 46 innings. That's the problem.
Yeah, yeah, and I will say though, he keeps his whip pretty well in check, which means he doesn't give up hits because he's got a 1-2 whip, which isn't bad.
Right,
Um,
and he got a ton of strikeouts.
yeah, yeah. So he's a nice ad. He definitely is a nice ad.
Oh yeah, he's an improvement, no doubt.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, but again, the Yankees didn't give up anybody really of note, right? I mean, they
No,
didn't. So
nope.
what are they doing? You give up that kind of guy for ho hum. They get four prospects, but nobody that anybody's freaking out about. Um,
All the Yankees fans care about is keeping Spencer Jones and uh, what's his name, the other George Lombard.
oh,
Those
right,
are
right, right.
our two prospects and they kept them both.
Yeah, that's huge, man. Well, I'm gonna. Um, yeah, and for them to also though another weird one was they. Excuse me, sneeze. Sorry.
All good.
That the trading of Mike Yastrzemski made me sneeze. I mean, Yaz has been has been a fixture there forever. He's not really even barely worth mentioning anymore. But he did get moved, and yeah, I don't know what to. I can't believe they gave them a B. Personally, I would give them a C minus at best.
Yeah, I'll give him a C. Yep, a B. I don't get. Yeah, I don't like it. Okay,
Yep. All
looking right
right.
here. On to the Cardinals. All right. They tried to. They came. It says the article says they came in aiming to move their three walkier relievers, and that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, no, they did it. We'll see what the return for the Mets has been considered solid. They're saying, and we'll see in the long run. But I think they did
Yep.
pretty well there for a walkier guy, personally.
Yep. Halsey, Matt, and Phil. Matan or Maton.
I think Matan. I think, and
Yeah.
Matan was a guy on my radar because I knew the Cardinals would be sellers, and he's having a heck of a year.
Yeah. So and he went to Texas, who is also trying to make a move here late in the year.
Yeah, the resurgent Rangers, man. I mean, they were one of the league's biggest disappointments not too long ago, and they are right back in contention.
Yep. Yep. Um, yeah. Steven Matt's going to Boston. He doesn't do as much for me
No, I'm with you there.
as the other two. I like Matan and of course Halsey's really good. That's a big get for the Mets in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Matz is he's more valuable because he's a lefty. Everybody, lefties always
Yeah.
get overvalued because of their scarcity, but he's been incredibly up and down in his career. So who knows what you're going to get? For instance, he's these are ERAs since 2021: 3.82, 5.25, 3.86, 5.08. This year, 3.44.
All right. So they gave him a B. I'll give him a B minus.
Yeah, I think I'm with you there. I honestly don't have a solid enough impression of their return to really give them a great grade. You know what I mean? I just don't feel like I know enough about their return, but I'll give them a B minus too.
All right. Basically, you get the B minus for me because you did what you aimed to do.
Yes, and I agree with that, and I do like the return they got on the biggest name from the Mets.
Right. All right. The Nationals. who I thought they were going to trade Mackenzie Gore, and they didn't. But they did trade Kyle Finnegan, Michael Soroka, and Alex Call. And all it is just depth in the organization. All it is just a lot of prospects I've never heard of.
Yeah.
And Mackenzie Gore would have given them the most back, and he's the one that stayed.
Yeah, very disappointing if you're a National fan. I think the worst thing you can hear when you trade away three guys is that you got organizational depth.
Right, right.
Yeah, Mackenzie Gore was the big chip, and again, it goes back to that when do you trade these guy type of guys? And for me, this is the time because they're nowhere near contending. So now would have been the time in my mind, but they didn't do it, and so a C is too high for me. I would give him a C minus or a D plus.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. D, I would say D.
Yeah,
Because the fact that it says it's described as organizational depth, that means they didn't get any high prospects.
exactly, man, exactly. Which is brutal. If you, I mean, you're trading,
I mean, Kyle
three guys.
Finnegan was having a pretty decent year.
Yeah, Finnegan. He's been their closer. You know what I mean? He's not nothing.
Well,
Alex calls in a young outfielder who's shown something. You know what I mean?
yeah. So, but they got nothing.
I know it's very surprising, man. Very surprising. I was very underwhelmed. I mean, Alex Call is, he's almost nothing. So I guess who what do you expect for him? I mean, he's 30 years old, but Finnegan is not nothing. So there should have been something more than organizational depth, at least from him.
I agree. All right, that finishes up the National League. I think the timing is perfect. If you want to do a part two, break this up into two parts. We can do the American League in the next part. What do you say about that?
Yeah, let's do it. Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't want to have any more problems. I think possibly the last one with the guitars was too long, and it really screwed up a lot
Yeah,
of
that
the
put
other
us back
leagues.
for we can't put this one out a week later because it'll be old news.
Right, right. So let's break it off here. So it'll be part one, and make sure you guys join us for part two, which will be all the American League moves. And yeah, anything else to add before we sign off?
No, that's perfect, man. I'm ready for part two, man. We'll hit the AL.
All right, guys, make sure you join us for part two. Thank you for joining us for part one. And until then, I will see you later.